All right, thank you so much. Good morning. I'm going to call to order this meeting of the Monroe County Board of Commissioners. It is Thursday, February 20th. I will note for the record that all three commissioners are here present in the Nat U Hill room, and we will begin with our public statement read today by Commissioner Jones.
We, the Monroe County Board of Commissioners, renew our commitment to welcome and protect the rights of all people, regardless of age, race, color, creed, disability, sexual orientation, gender, gender identity, marital status, economic status, and national origin. And we affirm the right of every person to live peacefully and without fear, and we will fight and resist at every step discrimination and harmful policies, whatever their source. We believe in diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. We also stand in support of our county public school systems, both RBB and MCCSC.
Thank you so much. We will now move on to department updates. We'll begin with the Health Department. Ms. Kelly?
Good morning, Commissioners. Just a few updates for you. As of February 18th, emergency visits for COVID-like illness across the state have decreased, though locally wastewater concentrations of COVID are trending upwards. Flu activity remains high and wastewater concentrations are trending upwards as well. Wastewater concentrations of RSV decreased in January, but those are now trending up as well. We have vaccines available through our public health clinic. You can call 812-353-3244 for more information.
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate the information. Comments or questions, Commissioner Jones?
No, I don't.
Commissioner Madeira?
No.
I don't have any either. Thank you for joining us today and giving us this important update. And next we have Mr. Kreider joining us for a department update on fleet and facilities.
Good morning, Commissioners. I have a brief update on the remodel of Suite 109 at the Showers Building, which we're going to convert into a health clinic space. We received bids last week. Building Associates came in as the low bidder, and they were also recommended by the architect. Next week, I'll read the recommendation, and I just wanted to let you know that they've submitted a contract, and Jeff Cockrell and I will review that, and then next week you guys should have all that in front of you. So
Great.
We're on schedule.
Thank
Excellent.
you.
Thank you so much. It's going to be really good to have that moved. And next we have an update from our surveyor.
Hello, good morning. I'm really excited to be here today. I'm going to share my screen real quick. They should have me set up where I can do that. Well, first I wanted to kind of come back and just address one of the questions about the reappointment of the Surveyor Review Board. The other two members are residents, and I figured I'd provide that update. And then my other update, and this is what I'm really excited about, is some of the efforts going on in the surveyor's office. We have been working on this higher education longevity program. It's not also kind of referred to as HELP. It's not the first of its kind in the state. Marion County actually has one in their surveyor's office, and I'll touch on that in just a few. Essentially, this is investing in our employees and furthering their education, and there's a lot of other offices and departments out there that invest in their employees to get them certified, or invest in their employees to kind of continue their education. So with that said, I'll just kind of go into a couple of slides. Let me click on the slides. So again, the Higher Education and Longevity Program, HELP. Similar difficulties that Marion and my office has encountered. Struggled with attraction and retention with our workforce. Majority of the applicants had no surveying experience, wanted to create incentives to help the hiring process, ensure the profession continues with an educated workforce. Well-educated and experienced survey technicians are hard to find. Rehiring and spending the expenses on the efforts of retraining people, that's just a huge time suck. And other kind of highlights of our program outline is the employee will attend Vincennes University hybrid online program to earn credits for a licensing exam while agreeing to stay with our office for 2 years after their last class. There's a reimbursement sliding scale that kicks in if the employee leaves before 2 years of the employment following their last class. I have worked with our legal, Mr. Schilling, on putting this all together. Also circulated it with a couple other offices to get their feedback, the treasurer and the auditors. Tuition fees are funded by the surveyor perpetuation fund or a designated council approved fund. I'm totally certain that it's always going to come out of the corner fund, but we just wanted to add that in there just in case. The help reimbursement agreement is between the Monroe County surveyor and the employee. And then these other slides are just kind of a visual of some of the work and the product we're able to produce. As you can see, you have a historic survey kind of on your far left. And surveys performed decades ago and a more modern survey. We need to be able to understand all of this information and be able to have that confidence that we are making the best informed decision as we move forward with having these monuments perpetuated. Here's a fun slide. It's our survey technician in the field using a Javad. A Javad is a survey grade equipment, which is actually quite expensive. So that's another thing that we're getting in return is to maximize this equipment. One other thing I look at is like a productivity. The level of service we're providing in the same amount of time is increasing our productivity. This is kind of another survey product. It's 2 sections, so we're able to do square mile surveys. Each one of those boxes indicate a section corner. So with having trained people out in the field, they can work independently or with a part-time while the PS is able to conduct more work. They're also, what you don't see, is able to do immense amount of research in the drafting of these survey products. Here is a monument record that is another deliverable that we're able to create. I really love the last picture on that with the 3 sills. And then as you can see, it's really busy, but all of that's the research behind that of previous surveys. And like I mentioned, Marion County has put this program together and they received an award from AIC in 2023. There's a 5-minute video. If anyone would like to see it, just let me know and I'll send it to you afterwards. And finally, from AIC, Ryan Huff, he put this together about how can a county maintain a workforce. And he addresses a lot of different ways of doing that. Incentives, furthering education, and again, I'm just really excited about this program and I'm really excited to share it with you today. And thank you.
Thank you. Any other departments have updates for us today? Raise your hand on Teams or come to the podium. With that, we will move on to public comment. This item on the agenda is reserved for comment for items that are not on our agenda. Please limit your commentary to 3 minutes per person. You may raise your hand on Teams or come to the podium. Please give your name and county of residence. Seeing none, we'll move on to our next agenda item, please.
Move approval of the minutes for February 6, 2025.
I second that.
We have a motion and we have a second. Any comments, corrections, or edits? Right, seeing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes for February 6, 2025 signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Move approval of the claims docket, accounts payable February 20th, 2025, and payroll February 21st, 2025.
I second.
We have a motion and we have a second, and we have Ms. Gallardo joining us to tell us all about it.
Morning. The accounts payable claims docket for February 20th, 2025 totals $10,601,037.32. This includes all emergency claims and adjustments. The payroll docket for February 21st, 2025 includes $1,590,946.26 in direct costs, and the remaining $679,477.57 were for indirect costs, for a grand total of $2,270,423.83.
All right, thank you so much. Comments or questions? Commissioner Madeira?
I have none.
Commissioner Jones?
No, I don't.
I don't either. Let's see if there's any public comment on this item. You may raise your hand on Teams or come to the podium. Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the claims docket, accounts payable February 20th, 2025, and payroll February 21st, 2025, signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries 3-0. I will note for the record, we have received reports from the clerk of the circuit court for January 2025, and from the treasurer also from January 2025. And we will begin the section on new business. The next item, please.
Move approval of Resolution 2025-05, opposition to Senate Bill 1.
I second.
We have a motion and we have a second, and we'll begin with Ms. Madeira, who authored this for us.
Resolution 2025-05, a resolution of the Monroe County Board of Commissioners opposing Indiana Senate Bill 1, property tax relief. Whereas the Indiana General Assembly is considering Senate Bill 1, SB 1, which proposes significant and radical amendments to property tax provisions affecting homestead deductions, property tax liability credits, and the timing of referendums on controlled projects and school referendum tax levies. And whereas these radical amendments would collectively alter the current framework used by Monroe County and other local government units to generate critical revenue, limit local government's flexibility in addressing funding needs through referenda, and constrain public school districts' ability to respond promptly to emerging funding needs. And whereas these property tax amendments are currently projected to create an exponentially severe shortfall across all government units in Monroe County of approximately $7,654,000 in 2026, $14,676,000 in 2027, and $20,125,000 in 2028, severely impacting the county's capacity to provide critical local government services. And whereas maintaining predictable and sufficient local revenue streams is crucial for prudent budgeting, responsible governance, and responsiveness to the immediate and long-term needs of the Monroe County community.
And whereas the Monroe County Board of Commissioners is committed to upholding its fiduciary responsibility to taxpayers, ensuring public safety, and promoting all residents' emotional, physical, social, educational, and economic well-being, maintaining and improving county assets, and identifying new growth opportunities. And whereas the anticipated loss of revenue would undermine these responsibilities, threaten essential services such as public safety, infrastructure maintenance, social services, and other vital programs that support Monroe County residents' health, welfare, and quality of life, and educational and economic well-being, and force the county to consider either drastic service reductions or alternative revenue measures that could disproportionately burden residents. And whereas the Monroe County Board of Commissioners is aware that under SB 1, members of the Indiana General Assembly will get public credit for reducing property taxes while unfairly shifting the burden of revenue replacement and the public displeasure that incurs to local governments who must raise local taxes. And whereas the Monroe County Board of Commissioners believes that an open dialogue with state legislatures is paramount to creating balanced situations that do not compromise local government's financial stability.
Now therefore be it resolved as follows. 1, the Monroe County Board of Commissioners respectfully but firmly opposes the property tax amendments as currently written due to their projected adverse impact on county finances and delivery of critical services. Number 2, the Monroe County Board of Commissioners urges members of the Indiana General Assembly to reconsider or amend these property tax revisions so as to prevent severe funding shortfalls and protect the social and economic integrity of Monroe County and its residents. Number 3, the Monroe County Board of Commissioners urges members of the Indiana General Assembly to not impose drastically low caps on the maximum levy growth quotient, which caps how much property taxes can increase annually based on Indiana's personal income growth over the previous 6 years. The growth quotient was capped at 4% for 2024 and 2025, but Senate Bill 1 would set the cap at 0 in 2026, 1% in 2027, and 2% in 2028. The Monroe County Board of Commissioners encourages members of the Indiana General Assembly to alleviate the harsh consequences of these property tax amendments through developing a state-level revenue replacement mechanism as they have in the past. The Monroe County Board of Commissioners calls on community stakeholders, local officials, and concerned citizens to join in voicing opposition to provisions in Senate Bill 1 that threaten the fiscal health of Monroe County and other local governments statewide. And number 6, a copy of this resolution shall be forwarded to the governor of the state of Indiana, the Indiana General Assembly, and other relevant state leaders to formally convey Monroe County's position and concerns, to be adopted today, the 20th of February, 2025. Comments? We'll start with Commissioner Madeira.
I think this is incredibly important. We know that our governors come in with mandates to save people money. We also know that they don't expect to get everything they want, but this provides every community with no benefits whatsoever. Basically, the property owners in these areas throughout the state of Indiana who are going to be hardest hit are going to lose vital services. The counties that they live in are going to have to drop measures that are critical not only to public health, safety, and welfare, but also to maintaining the quality of life that draws individuals to these counties, and it's going to have a statewide economic impact. And I cannot underscore enough how critical it is that the legislature provide alternative means for saving folks money. That's not to deny that savings are necessary. It's just that we need to reallocate these funds. Governments are already tightening their belts enough. We cannot do so more.
Thank you. And again, thank you for getting this written. Commissioner Jones, comments or questions?
Yeah, I think it's very important that the public understand that they will feel the consequences of this bill. It's not just going to affect people who need services just to manage to live their lives. It will also affect everyone who uses our roads, our bridges. If we have any emergencies, we're going to be much less able to respond to them. This is going to have effects on every citizen in Indiana.
Yeah, and I think, and I appreciate both of you and your perspectives, and you're spot on and echo everything that's been said. And I will just say that this is a state that appears to want to dig its way to the bottom and, proudly demonstrate that our taxes are low, but you get what you pay for. And that's an unfortunate thing. And so it's not going to make Indiana, nor Monroe County, nor any of the Monroe County government units any better. It's just going to shift the burden to us to find some other way to make ends meet. And that's going to be detrimental to everyone in the community. So appreciate having this on the floor. Let's see if there's any public comment on this before we have our vote. You raise your hand on Teams or come to the podium. Okay, seeing none, all those in favor of approving Resolution 2025-05 signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you so much. Next item, please.
Move approval of Midwest Sort Agreement for 2025, Form 11 mailing. Fund name, reassessment, fund number 1224, in an amount not to exceed $45,000.
I second.
We have a motion, we have a second, and we have our County Assessor Judy Sharp joining us. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is, every year I'm here, this is the Form 11s. This is the notice that goes out to all the taxpayers the last week in April. It's a huge job to even get it ready, but Midwest Pre-Sort has been doing this, mailing this for us and getting it all organized, well, ever since they've been in business, I don't know, 15, 20 years. And it's the same thing. And that's all it is. It didn't, basically what goes up is the cost of postage. I think it's an excellent deal. I'd have to hire probably 100 people to do this job. I mean, can you imagine stuffing 57,000 envelopes? No, we tried that one time. We're not doing it anymore. So anyway, this is all it is. And it has been looked at by the legal team. And like I said, it's just the normal thing every year this time.
Thank you so much. Comments or questions, Commissioner Jones?
Yeah, I remember the year when you tried to do this yourselves, and
Do you know how much that probably cost Monroe
Yeah.
County? A lot more than this is.
there were a lot of unhappy people.
Yeah.
I am
The
happy
only
to
thing that I
support
worry
this.
about, and this company has been so great, and it is guaranteed here, these all have to go out the very same day. They cannot go out like a day before or a day after because it is a statutory deadline. And so just to give you an idea, it's the mail. It's not Midwest Pre-Sort. It's the United States Post Office. Last week, I got 4 Form 11s back from 2024. They never made it there. 2024. Every day, we get Form 11s back, 23, 22. There have been settings somewhere. I have no idea. Kind of like the newspaper. Sitting somewhere. Okay. Kind of on my soapbox on the newspaper. But anyway, I'm just saying, we're not getting our mail. And we actually went down to the post office and talked to them. And they blamed Indianapolis, the hub up there. So I don't know what it is, but you're hearing it from everybody. I know you are. It's just not getting through. So for the taxpayers out there, if my Form 11 doesn't get to you, I can't help that. It is, you know, I do put all this online too. So it is right there online. If they don't actually get the hard copy, they can get online and it will be there.
Commissioner Madeira, comments or questions?
I can't myself, and every time I try to lick an envelope, I cut my tongue. So I think that, yeah, it's just unfortunate. I'm one of those people. And so I think that these services are invaluable, and I'm very glad we can do this.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I was going to ask the question you already answered, which is what do they do if they don't get it? So
Online, everything that we do, everything is online for us, which is phenomenal, to be very honest with you. That really helps the customer. And once again, that's a cost savings to everybody. They don't have to come into the courthouse all the time. We've noticed a big difference, and you have too, over the years.
Sure. Excellent. Thank you so much. Let's see if there's any public comment on this item. You can raise your hand on Teams or come to the podium. Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the Midwest Pre-Sort Agreement for 2025 Form 11 mailing signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Next item, please.
Move approval for ERS wireless agreement for outdoor siren replacements. Fund name 2024 GO Bond. Fund number 4819 in the amount of $160,500.22.
I second.
All right, we have a motion. We have a second. Ms. Neville, good morning.
Good morning. So I'm here for the approval of Phase 2 of the siren replacement that we've been working through. So there are 5 total. The first one, if you recall, I was here in July asking for the approval to replace the one at the American Legion that has been completed. That was completed in November. So this is just for the remaining 4. Being the one at the Monroe Fire Protection District Station 25 in Bloomington Township, one at Edgewood High School at the tennis courts, the Monroe County Fairgrounds, and the Smithville Ball Diamond. The Siren Subcommittee met, and we had actually outlined 14, and these 5 were at the top.
All right. Excellent. Thank you so much. Comments or questions, Commissioner Madeira?
No, I just think that these sirens have saved lives and certainly a lot of injuries throughout the county. They're very important.
Commissioner Jones?
Yeah, I'm glad to see that we have a regular replacement program, and at least 2 of these are relevant to me, so I'm very pleased to hear that they're being replaced.
Yeah, this is really good news. We're coming up on, believe it or not, as cold as it is today, severe weather season. So it's good timing. I would just say that the ERS packet has Station 25 for the Fire Protection District listed as Bloomington Township Fire, which it is no longer. So, but you've acknowledged what it is, so folks know. It's sometimes hard to get caught up with all of those things. So you have a list and you're ready for the next replacements that need to come. Excellent. And they remove and recycle, scrap, salvage, everything.
Absolutely.
Right.
They take everything from the ground up, completely out, replace completely with new, and recycle the old. Yeah.
All right, great. It's a great program. Thank you for keeping an eye on it. It's important.
Absolutely.
All right, let's see if there's any public comment on this item. You can raise your hand on Teams or come to the podium. Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the ERS wireless agreement for outdoor siren replacements signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Move approval of Harold Fish, Inc. sewer line repair at the Youth Services Bureau, fund name Cumulative Capital, fund number 1138, in the amount of $4,375.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and we have a second. Thank you. And we have Mr. Griffith joining us. Good morning.
Commissioners, I'm Alex.
We can't hear you.
Sorry.
So get up close to that mic. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Alex Griffith with the Monroe County Maintenance Department. This agenda request is to accept the proposal by Harold Fish Incorporated in the total amount of $4,375 even to provide excavation of a section of sewer line at the Monroe County Youth Services Bureau and repair the connection to the main.
All right. Thank you so much. Comments or questions, Commissioner Jones?
I was just wondering if this had caused any actual problems inside the Youth Services Bureau building?
Unfortunately, yes. There was an incident on January 5th of a sewer backup.
Sorry to hear that, but glad it's being repaired.
Commissioner Madeira?
Nope, this is very important to address, and we need to do so as soon as possible.
Thank you for following up on this and working on this. Let's see if there's any public comment on this item. You may raise your hand on Teams or come to the podium in Nat U Hill. Seeing none, we'll come back for a vote. All those in favor of the Harold Fish Inc. sewer line repair at the Youth Service Bureau signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Next item, please.
Move approval of a permanent sewer easement to the City of Bloomington Utilities, or CBU, at Karst Farm Park East, and acknowledgement of encroachment into CBU at Karst Farm Park West.
A second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Ms. Whitmer, thank you.
This is very straightforward. I think Commissioner Jones just read exactly what we need. There are two sewer lines that go through Karst Farm Park. The one on the east goes to Grandview Elementary, and that's the one that they would like a permanent easement that's been there for 25 years. And the one on the west, they have an easement, but we're going to encroach upon it with our soccer field 11, about this much, I don't know. And the encroachment states that if they come in and do maintenance, it's on our dime to fix our stuff. So it's pretty straightforward. County Legal has reviewed this.
Thank you so much. Let's see if there's any comments or questions from the commissioners. Commissioner Madeira?
Nope, just glad we can ease this easement.
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yeah, I'm just glad this has all been straightened out, and hopefully the project can move ahead quickly now.
We're hoping that weather has put a little stoppage on us right now. But I do want to say that I appreciate everyone from CBU for working with us on this project and future projects. We've worked hand in hand in the last 30 years, and I appreciate all of their staff and their help that they have given us in years past. And we have some projects probably coming in the future, and I appreciate their help on that too.
Yeah, I appreciate the follow-up and getting this done and as quickly as possible. So that was good. Thank you for that. Let's see if there's any public comment on this item. You may raise your hand on Teams or come to the podium in Nat U Hill. Oh, Ms. Whitmer, you're going to have to share your podium.
Transparency. Good morning, Commissioners. This is Christopher Imge from the Greater Bloomington Chamber of Commerce, and I was listening to the work session 2 weeks ago from my computer, and the frustration was seeping through the speakers, where I was really concerned, got on the horn, and so where we are today, I just want to commend everybody on their work getting done, where this didn't become a bigger issue than it could have been. Karst Park is a treasure within the community, and we need to do everything we can to make sure it's up and running. And Ms. Whitmer's work on it has been really a testament to public service. So I want to thank everybody involved in making this a CBU and everybody else. It's an example of just what can be achieved when you set aside administrative roadblocks. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to offer a public comment on this item?
I just want to say how grateful we are to you to have in-house specialists that can help us address questions like this very helpfully, very quickly and very helpfully. And I'd like to thank in particular Jeff and the rest of the legal staff for their work on this issue. It was really excellent.
Yeah, they worked very quickly. Mr. Roddy, Mr. Cockrell, both. Yep. All right, seeing no other public comment, we'll come back for a vote. All those in favor of approving the permanent sewer easement to City of Bloomington Utilities at Karst Farm Park East and acknowledgement of encroachment into CBU areas at Karst Farm Park West signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you. And I believe this has to be notarized. So whenever you all get around to it, we'll get it to CBU.
We'll get that. Thank you. All right. Item, please.
Move approval of the 2024 OSHA 300 report.
I second.
We have a motion and we have a second, and we have Mr. Elgar joining us. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm
prepared if you all have any questions about the overall nature of that report.
Can you just tell us a little bit about trends or where things are going?
Yeah, there is a slight trend in the slip and fall category. I've got someone from IPEP, which is our work comp insurance, coming on site next month. We're going to talk about some things we can do, trainings we can have in departments where trend more notably than others. We're going to work on some trainings to roll out. We're also going to map out where incidences are happening and the nature of what those incidences are across county properties. It's going to take a month or so, but I'm working with facilities management to make those diagrams happen.
Great, that's a good plan. Thank you. Comments or questions? Commissioner Jones?
Yeah, I'm just pleased that this isn't just a report and you're reacting to it.
Oh, absolutely. We want to make sure everybody is able to work as safely as possible, and we minimize costs where we can.
Commissioner Madeira?
No, I'll just echo Commissioner Lee that these are incredibly important. And as we see, there can be one single incident that just, is very expensive, and it's completely due to nobody's fault, really. These things just happen, but if we can prevent these things from happening by looking ahead and figuring out where they're happening, that's the best we can do.
I appreciate your work on this, and I think that is a great idea to kind of map out where it's happening, which departments, and work on trainings and remediations in construction if needed to make things better. Thank you for that, and thanks for continuing to follow through on it. All right, let's see if there's any public comment on this item. You may raise your hand on Teams or come to the podium. Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the 2024 OSHA 300 report signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you. All right, next item, please.
Move approval of the resiliency practice contract renewal, fund name self-insurance, fund number 4700 in the amount of $10,000.
Motion?
I second.
And a second, and would you please tell us about this, Mr. Elgar?
Absolutely. This is specialized therapy services for people who work in corrections and in the sheriff's department. The proprietor of this business is the daughter of a frontline employee. Her father was a fireman and volunteer community member for a long time in that front end of service. So she's grown up with this. She does ride-alongs with staff to build a little bit of camaraderie, let them understand that she's there as a resource, and then when they need that resource, she's available. And so this is a renewal of contract. It's also a slight adjustment in service, being that it's been several years since we've negotiated that contract.
Thank you so much. So comments or questions, Commissioner Madeira?
I can't underscore how important these services are, and they should be able to be obtained, at a very low cost, no cost to workers, and they need to be confidential. And I'm so glad that we have this program.
Commissioner Jones?
Yeah, I'm just very pleased that we have this program also. I'm sure it's appreciated and used. Well, I could see it's been used.
Yeah, this is a really great program. There's a lot of trauma in that line of work, and so it's important for us to acknowledge and address and assist our employees in dealing with that effectively. All right, let's see if there's any public comment on this item. You may raise your hand on Teams or come to the podium. Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the resiliency practice contract renewal signify by saying aye. 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 Motion carries 3-0. Thank you. Next item, please.
Move approval of the settlement agreement with Robert W. Stillions regarding 401 West 7th Street.
A second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Mr. Cockrell.
Yes, and this goes back over a decade when we bought the Johnson Hardware building where Community Corrections and Election Central is located. When we purchased that, we did the phase 1, phase 2 environmental reports which indicated that the dry cleaner across the street or across the alleyway had activities had created a situation where we were getting essentially some chlorine gas coming through into our building. We reported that to IDEM, and IDEM is currently ready to close it out pending this item. The amount of the settlement is going to reflect the costs we've had over the last decade in both monitoring and our remediation of that space. We had to put in similar to a radon system where it brings the gas from under the slab and pushes it out through the roof. This was all done with compliance with IDEM's recommendations and regulations. And so as part of the closeout process on the IDEM, they need to have an environmentally restricted covenant from us that we would not basically utilize the groundwater in the system. That is not currently on well. It never is intended to ever go back to being on well. So that's really the environmental restrictive covenant part of that. The settlement agreement also allows them to come onto our properties for monitoring purposes.
Thank you so much for working on this for a long time. Comments or questions, Commissioner Jones?
No, I don't, thank you.
Commissioner Madura?
No, thank you.
All right. Yeah, I appreciate this getting completed, and yes, we have no intention to dig a well anytime soon in the city of Bloomington, so we're all safe there. Excellent. All right. Let's see if there's any public comment on this item. You may raise your hand on Teams or come to the podium. Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the settlement agreement with Robert W. Stillions regarding 401 West 7th Street signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Move approval of ordinance 2025-07, amending Monroe County Code Chapter 225 regarding Environmental Commission.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Mr. Cockrell.
Yes, and we discussed this at the last work session. I would just note that when it is placed in our code, we will spell resiliency in the chapter title correctly. Essentially, it's basically amending the Environmental Commission. There were quorum issues with that commission. It's expanding that to include 4 staff members, as well as a county commissioner and a county council member. The commissioners get to appoint 2 citizen appointments, and the council member gets to, or the council gets to appoint 1 citizen member. So a total of 9. 4 of those are staff. I think we've done this so that when they meet, they have to notice the meeting. But if a sub-quorum's there, they can still have that meeting and they can still have those communications. The 4 staff members could also get together and talk about things that may apply to this without having a quorum issue. I think what this is intended is for county projects to have the Resiliency Commission oversee them and kind of give guidance on things that can happen to make those projects more resilient. There is language in here that if there's something that's maybe not under that umbrella, but the commissioners are still interested in them reviewing that kind of project or thought, that they can make that request to the environment or to the Resiliency Commission, and then the Resiliency Commission can do the research and come back with recommendations for them.
Thank you so much. Comments or questions, Commissioner Madura?
I think it's very important to go in this direction because Environmental Commission just says so little these days as well. And so given that we have a wonderful climate resiliency report coming, I think that this is very, very appropriate, and it's important to acknowledge the breadth and contribution that this will make.
Commissioner Jones, you were instrumental in this as well. Thank you.
Yeah, I think this is something that I think is really important for Monroe County government and the community as a whole. Things will be changing in the future, whether we like it or not. A lot of things are going to be changing, and it's going to be really important to be as resilient as possible to these changes and to anticipate what may happen and prepare for it, but also to try to prepare for what we can't really anticipate. This is based on what's called a living document, so it will be revised as time goes on. And new concerns are brought up, and possibly hopefully a lot of the old ones will have been taken care of. Because this is something that's going to require the county to invest money in it, I think it's important that there be a council member as a part of the committee. But I'm very pleased to see this happening. I think it's going to make the Environmental Commission into something that will be much more effective.
Yes, and we're looking forward to the report, which next week?
Yeah.
Is that true? Okay, so next week at our meeting, just a preview for folks, we will be hearing about this report, and it is really thoughtfully done. We're the first county to do it versus cities that have done it. So this is really good for us, but I think it serves as a roadmap for the work that needs to get done, and it's wonderful to have staff sort of leading the charge here as well, because it is county buildings, county infrastructure that is being impacted directly. So we look forward to seeing all the great things that are going to come out of this. So thank you for working on this. Thank you, Mr. Cockrell, for working on this. Let's take any public comment on this item. You may raise your hand on Teams or come to the podium. Mr. MG.
Again, thank you. Commissioners, time to speak on this matter. You know, I think this is a great move in the right direction. I appreciate Commissioner Jones. Resiliency is the issue. We're going to start flood season soon. After that, it's going to be drought season. And these are things that aren't happening once every 7 years. They're periodically happening about every year, and they need to be addressed, and we need to plan for them. The one area, and I spoke to it last night, it's City Council. Anytime we can get some of these commissions that are city-county, I mean, the environment is something that affects all of us. Sometimes we're in the city, sometimes we're in the county. And some of that shared resources moving forward, so we think about that. Environment is one of those things. I think we're on the same page. If we can be lockstep, sort of sharing some resources to make us as effective and as resilient as possible, we should move in that direction. So with this, with this commission and with some other ones, just start looking at areas where we can sort of collaborate with the city on, because I think there's some real areas of mutual interest that both governments share and the people share. We don't know sometimes if we're in the county, sometimes we don't know if we're in the city. So, but I want to commend Commissioner Jones on the work that she's done on this, and I look forward to seeing some of the results from it. Thanks.
I just want to say that the city sustainability director has reached out to me, and is interested in collaboration. We haven't actually met or discussed anything yet because I was kind of waiting for the commission to exist and to find out what the membership will be. But yes, I am certainly hoping that this will be something where we can work in tandem with the city.
Mm-hmm, for sure. Thank you. Any other public comment on this item? See none, all those in favor of approving ordinance 2025-07 signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Move on to the next item, please.
Move approval of the MOU with Financial Solutions Group, fund name County General, fund number 1000, in an amount not to exceed $28,000.
I second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Oh.
Good morning, Commissioners. Ms. Turner King wasn't able to make it this morning, so she requested I present. This is a request to approve the MOU between the Financial Solutions Group and the county for financial consulting. The changes between this year's contract and previous contracts is we've expanded it to 2-year term, and we also requested that FSG watch state legislation.
Thank you. Comments or questions? Commissioner Jones?
No, I don't.
Commissioner Madeira?
No.
I don't either. We've done this before, and moving it to 2 years makes sense. It would be great if this kind of work could be done in-house, and it just can't at this moment, but at some point, hopefully it can be, because this is an expense that's beyond. But thank you for bringing this forward, and appreciate and support the council. Any comment on this item? You may raise your hand on Teams or come to the podium. Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the MOU with Financial Solutions Group signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries 3-0. All set. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Move approval of Aegis BLN USA Inc. Supplemental Number 1 for Baby Creek Road Bridge Number 629. Fund name Baby Creek Road Bridge Number 629. Fund number 8167 in the amount of $21,700.
I second.
We have a motion. We have a second. We have Ms. Ridge joining us for all of these items. Tell us all about it, please.
So this supplemental is for permits and the right-of-way engineering for the bridge replacement. There's a Monroe County floodplain permit that's required for the project, and there were some additional services for some parcels having unknown ownership. So this is the supplemental for that.
Thank you so much. Comments, questions? Commissioner Madeira?
None.
Commissioner Jones?
No, I don't.
All right. Either. It's very straightforward. Let's see if there's any public comment on this item. You may raise your hand on Teams or come to the podium. Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the Aegis BLN USA Inc. Supplemental Number 1 for Baby Creek Road Bridge 629 signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries 3-0. And we have another item that's very similar. It's also called Supplemental Number 1, which I must have read this like 10 times. Every time I read this, oh wait, this is the same one. No. Please go ahead and make the motion.
Move approval of Aegis BLN USA Inc. Supplemental Number 1 for Baby Creek Road Bridge Number 629. Fund name Baby Creek Road Bridge Number 629. Fund number 8167 in the amount of $11,710.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, so this is another Supplemental Number 1.
Correct. Myself. So there's two different parts of right-of-way in the federal aid projects. There's right-of-way engineering, and then there's right-of-way services. Some firms subcontract out right-of-way services, which is appraisals and abstracts and warranty deeds of that nature. The right-of-way engineering part is basically engineering to get to right-of-way services. So I hope that makes sense. So this is for the right-of-way services portion of the project.
Thank you so much. Comments or questions, Commissioner Jones?
No, I don't.
Commissioner Madeira?
No.
So the split on this one works, it's 80-20 of the 11,710. Of the 11,710, that
Correct.
split 80-20. So make sure. Thank you. All right. Let's see if there's any public comment on this item. Let me raise or come to the podium. None. Let me get the right page here. All right, there we go. See none. All those in favor of approving the Aegis BLN USA Inc. Supplemental Number 1 for Baby Creek Road Bridge 629 signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Move approval of Lockmuller Group Inc. for Fairfax Road Safety Improvement. Fund name Fairfax Road Safety Improvement. Fund number to be decided in the amount of $49,150.
I second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Ms. Ridge.
So last fall, NDOT did a first round of a call for safety projects. The project was awarded It does use HSIP funds, which is Highway Safety Improvement Program funding. The project includes adding multiple locations of a high-friction surface treatment on Fairfax Road at various locations. We followed the RFP process for a federal aid project, and Lockmuller Group was the highest-ranking firm after NDOT reviewed and approved our selection. The project is funded at a 90% federal aid and 10% local match. The project is to be completed by the end of 2026.
Thank you so much. Comments or questions, Commissioner Madeira?
None.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes, I know that Fairfax Road is a road that can use this, and I'm very pleased that you tried for this funding and received it.
Actually, we do a road crash report every year for the previous 3 years of crash data. We put that all together, and Fairfax is higher on the list for runoff crashes. So we're hoping in these curve areas that this high friction pavement will help with that.
Can you explain what that is, that high friction pavement?
Well,
It rattles your car.
it's a different, it's like a sealant that they put into on the pavement.
Okay.
And it kind of gives it a little bit more grit.
Okay.
For the tires, so that hopefully it prevents some of the slide off.
It's not the ridges that we've seen on some federal highways. It's a different
Pavement that they'll install.
So we're getting new pavement.
Areas.
Nice. That's not a bad thing. All right. Yes, thank you for following through on the HSIP program, Highway Safety Improvement Program. It's part of, it's always something. There's always something that we can get done, and I know you have done a lot with various improvements for safety. I really appreciate the constant eye on these grant opportunities. So this is really good. All right. Let's see if there's any public comments on this item. You can raise your hand on Teams or come to the podium. None. All those in favor of approving the Lockmuller Group, Inc. Fairfax Road Safety Improvement signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Move approval of a revised beam launch SNEF supplemental number 2 for county-wide bridge inspections. Fund name cumulative bridge, fund number 1135, in the amount of $32,555.40.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Ms. Ridge.
So this is a correction to a contract that you approved on January 9th of this year. One of the tables that was discovered in the back did not amount to the same contract amount. So it's actually at a little bit lesser cost. So we wanted to bring that back and get it revised so we can get that sent back up to NDOT.
Thank you so much. Comments or questions, Commissioner Jones?
No, I don't.
Commissioner Madeira?
No, but just as a side comment, these last few agenda items are the very types of things that I'm worried that under SB 1, there will be less money for. So it's kind of hitting me as I sit here that we take these expenditures for granted, and not many members of the public are here to see us reflect upon, and they seem fairly small adjustments. But if your road is cracked or if your bridge goes under and you're on it, obviously it's a matter of great moment, and our citizens deserve better than to drive on substandard roads and worry about the safety of bridges. So SB 1 poses problems.
For sure. That's a really good point, that there's a lot of things in here that we've talked about today that's going to have an impact.
We just take them for granted.
We do. That, we've allocated money, it's there, it's going to be there in the future. And, if you do a 0, 1, or 2% growth quotient, that doesn't keep up with inflation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So something's got to give.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Any public comment on this item? Being none, all those in favor of approving the revised Beam Long as NEF supplemental number 2 for county-wide bridge inspection signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you so much, Ms. Ridge. Just a few announcements today. There are free COVID-19 tests available at the Health Department at 119 West 7th Street and also at the County Public Health Clinic at 333 East Miller Drive. We are still accepting applications for boards and commissions. Please go to co.monroe.in.us and fill out an application. And while you're there, click on that megaphone on the homepage and sign up for our resident alert system. This will be especially handy during spring storm season. Yes, we are going to get to spring at some point, and when we do, it will be stormy. So technically, Tornado Alley has moved east, and we're part of it now. So this will really be a huge help to everyone to sign up to be weather aware. Also, we have 6 office hours scheduled throughout each month. And that's a one-on-one conversation with one of us. Go to the calendar at our homepage and check out any of the meetings and join us with your comments, suggestions, ideas, whatever it may be. We do co-sponsor a blood drive with Ivy Tech for Red Cross. The next 2 are Tuesday, March 4th, Wednesday, March 5th. Tuesdays is 10 a.m. to 3. Wednesday, March 5th is 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. and these are at Shreve Hall at Ivy Tech. Go to redcross.org to make an appointment. Any other agenda items? Okay. We do have a work session with agenda items. Can we come back at 11:15 for that? Yes? Okay, excellent. All right, so let's come back for a work session, 11:15. Our next meeting is the 27th of February at 10 a.m. right here at Nat U Hill, and this regular meeting is now adjourned. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, TSD. Thank you, CATS.